This is one of the main attractions on the Alaskan cruise, the calving of the glacier wall. But of course, our cruise did not start here. It started 7 days earlier in San Francisco. So let me bring you back to the beginning and then I'll work you all the way back up to this point again. Well, after a very long, exhausting trip from Los Altos to San Francisco, Flo decided to lay down and take in some of the sun. These next few slides will be that of the ship to show you how beautiful this ship really is. How do you like this for a chessboard? Life size. Here's a nice little view of the harbor. And there's the city in the background. Quite a sight. And that's the beautiful Bay Bridge. And this is the new bridge that they're building. It's getting there. It looks like it's going to be completed before too long. There we are at poolside with our drinks and getting ready to listen to some music and getting ready to sail out. This is our entertainment that's going to be happening very shortly. And here we go, sailing past Alcatraz Island on our way up to our first stop, which is Ketchikan, Alaska. Being that we have 2 days at sea before we get to Ketchikan, I think I'll show you some of the ship interior. This is the rotunda, and it is really very, very beautiful. This is another view of from the same area. You see, this goes up 4 decks. There's staircases all over this place with palm trees, and it really is breathtaking to see it in person. And there's Flo looking as beautiful as ever. That piano you see in the background is where they have a piano player every night before dinner, because the dining room is right directly behind this place. And also they have a three-piece combo, violinist, pianist, and bass player. And this is how you go from the 4th deck to the 8th deck in a glass elevator that goes right up the middle of the rotunda. So naturally, if you have one, you should have 2, which they are right next to each other. I'm now up on the 8th deck, looking down the middle of the rotunda to the 4th deck. This is a little restaurant up here. It's the pizzeria. This is where if you want something light for lunch, you come up and have a pizza. There's Flo with her pizza ready to go, and if she stands up and looks over this railing and looks straight down, this is what you're going to see. You see all the way down to the 4th deck. It's really quite a view. This metal sculpture was hanging down on the wall in the 4th floor of the rotunda, and Flo just fell completely in love with it, and she wanted it. I also had to get into the acting to have a picture taken right next to it. You have to admit, it is very, very impressive. Well, tonight is the captain's ball, and they got the big net sprung around the top of the rotunda with all these hundreds and hundreds of balloons in it, and which they're going to be releasing before very, very long. Well, it's getting ready. It's going to be dropping any second now. Just look at the mob on every deck, all waiting for these balloons to be released and come down, and they're just starting to come now. And here they come. Unbelievable, the sight of everybody getting in there trying to get a balloon and hit it around. You can't believe the way this crowd was fighting each other, just trying to get a balloon and pop it back up in the air again. This is Larry. He plays on the piano bar almost every night for about 2 to 2.5 hours. And he's a piano player, singer, and comedian. And other than he's English and he speaks with an English accent, he is very funny and very, very, very good.
All right, I'll get pennies from heaven. Oh, dear. You see how it all goes down, horribly down. A few minutes ago we had the quality people, now it starts filling up, and hang on, man's taking a picture. Hurry up, I'm smiling for you, quick. Yeah, look.
You're on film, you're on motion.
What was that? I'm smiling, take a picture.
It is.
No, you're not allowed to video.
I'm recording.
No, you're not allowed to record.
Well, I'm doing it anyway.
Oh, you're not doing it. Not in my bar, you're not doing it, so turn it off. Yes, we don't allow the entertainment being recorded on the ship. It's a copyright thing, okay? So you have to turn it off, okay?
Okay. I will.
Just sit and watch it.
I don't know when, but I'll turn it off.
I'm afraid you have to turn it off, yeah? Because we don't allow recording of the entertainment. We get thrown out the shows for recording. You're not allowed to do it in the Canada, see? Sorry about that.
After spending 2.5 days at sea, we finally arrived at our first destination, Ketchikan. Flo and I decided to go out to Misty Fjords. And we're aboard this pontoon high-speed boat, which travels at about 35 to 40 miles an hour, and it's supposed to be a very, very exciting trip. Okay, we're just starting off, and we're starting to move out, and as soon as we clear this harbor, we'll go up to full speed. This is just what you see, starting to see as we're clearing the harbor over here. And yes, you can see it's a very overcast day. There is no such thing as sunshine up here. We now cleared the harbor and we're starting to get up to full speed. And man, this boat is fast. This is quite a ride. Well, if these clouds were any lower, they'd be touching the water. And you'll see as we go along, it's the same story every place we went. We're coming up on Eagle Rock. You'll see why, in a little while, why it's called that. Well, this is why they call it Eagle Rock. Eagles just like to perch on branches on this rock. There's really quite a few of them. Today we only saw one over here. As we were going along here, we had a visitor, an airplane. This is a very common mode of transportation up here. And else you'll see as we go along here that it's nothing but waterfalls. Those white streams you see coming down, that's water falling down the rock. As I said, water, water, water everywhere. Flo came out from inside on the rail here, being that we're moving very slowly now to enjoy the sights a little bit better. And as you can see, she's all bundled up. Temperatures is only in the mid-50s. And as I said, every place you look, you see more waterfalls. Hey Flo, it's a good thing we moved away from back there. For the simple reason, if we were still there, that cloud would be on your head. Well, we've culled into a little cove here, nice and still, and you can see there's a lot, nothing but rock and green foliage every place you look. They certainly have a lot of pretty looking trees up here. Now this is August, and there's still plenty of snow up there to create all these waterfalls. Can you imagine what it was like in the early spring when they just start to thaw out? And this is a Tuatha waterfall. There's the upper part, and there's the lower part as it enters into the water. And a few harbor seals came to pay us a visit. But you know, in Santa Cruz I see at least 100 to 200 more of these in one time. Juneau is the capital of Alaska, and today we're going to be going out to the Mendenhall Glacier. But before going to the glacier, we're going to stop off at a nice, unique museum, which you'll see next. This is a very interesting museum. It has got a lot of beautiful Indian artifacts in it. These next few animals really look alive. Well, they are. They're stuffed animals. This painting looks so real, it looked like it was ready to come alive. This painting is really more vivid in person than it appears over here on a video. Now this is a real stuffed eagle hanging in the lobby. Same bird from a different angle. You swear that this guy was ready to take off. I certainly wouldn't want to meet up with him out in the wild. And another thing, totem poles are a real big thing up here. Well, we're now back to where we started, and I'll show you the glacier wall up close and personal. The ice in these glaciers appears very, very blue, and that's only because it's thousands and thousands of years old, and it's very heavily compressed, and there's actually no life within it, so the color that comes up is blue. Now, one thing with this chunk of ice that calved off and is floating in the water, this thing floats just like what an ice cube does in your glass. 90% of it is underwater, and only 10% is above. So if this thing is sticking about 40, 50 feet above, that means there is approximately 450 to 460 feet of ice chunk underwater. This is why you don't want to go running into one of these things with a ship. It's the same with these two chunks floating. They're very, very large underwater. This waterfall is the melting of the glacier as it comes tumbling down the side of the mountain. Now, the melting of the glacier started 300 years ago, and that's when the glacier walls also started to recede. So at the present rate, it's going to take quite a few years before they're gone if we don't go back into another ice age. We're back from the glacier, and we have a little time before we got to get on board. So we walked around the town just to see what we could see. Now here is something we found very interesting. There's a real true-to-life stuffed bear. He's actually about 4 inches taller than he should be because he's on a little dolly that they wheel him out in. But that's the size of what a bear is compared to a person. And naturally, I didn't want Flo to be there by herself, so I joined her. This is Main Street, Juneau. Looks like any other little quaint little towns. This was a unique store where it's got all kinds of stuff from all over the world for sale in it. Flo and I thought that this stairway up to the house was a real challenge. I mean, it's a challenge to get up there when you're sober. I can imagine what it's like trying to climb up there when you're after a party and you had a drink or two. Well, anyway, this is a little bit of Juneau, and now it's time for us to get on ship, and it's time to get out of here because our next stop is going to be Victoria, and hopefully we're going to see some sun after all this time.
Hi, Flo.
Hello.
Is everything okay?
Everything's okay.
Well, I don't know about that because you're fading away on me. You're slowly disappearing more and more and you're gone. Well, I'll tell you what, don't move and I'll see if I can get you back. Ah, there you go, Flo. Now you're starting to come into focus. But there's a problem.
What's the problem?
All I see is your head. You don't have a body.
What do you mean I don't have a body?
Yeah, oh, now I see 2 hands and a head, but you still don't have a body.
Well, what did you do with it?
I didn't do anything with it. It's a mystery. I don't know where it went.
Well, you must, because you're the one that took it away.
Well, if you stay still, I'm going to go look for it and see if I can find it.
Well, you better find it.
Okay, I'll try my best.
You better.
Here you go. You're coming back into focus. But you know there's still a problem.
Now what's the problem?
Well, your body is there. I see your hands are still there, but your head's missing.
You better find my head. I want it back.
Well, I'll try one more time. Hope for the best.
Find it.
Ah, there you go, Flo. You're coming back into focus. And now there you are, all back in one piece again. But you know what? You gotta stop doing this. Because one of these days, I'm not gonna be able to put you back together again.
Me? It's you that's doing it.
What? What am I doing?
In one video, you had just my hands floating around. In another video, you had lightning coming out and couldn't get out of my hands. In this video, you have my head and my hands floating around and my body walking around without a head. All this separation, has made me very tired. I'm going to bed and sleep. Good night, Jill.
Oh, there you go again. You're fading away on me.
Sorry, good night.
Oh, okay. There you are, all gone again. Well, I hope you come back in the morning.
Every day at 3 o'clock aboard ship, they serve afternoon tea. I mean, after all, you know, dinner is not served until 6, so you don't want to go hungry, so you got to have a little something to eat before then. Flo got herself a nice little sandwich that she's going to be nibbling on, and they keep coming around with more and more and more, so this is only the first go-around. Besides our little sandwich, now she has a scone. And if you ever had a scone, you know that you have to put something on it, otherwise you can't eat it. So they give you whipped cream and jelly, which is makes it very, very appealing. This is just a small variety of the different types of sandwiches you can have. They have a lot more than this, but they weren't out for me to film. So take my word for it, there's lots and lots more that you can have. And this is a variety of all different kinds of pastries that you can have. I mean, after all, what else do you do on a board ship other than eat? We arrived at Victoria and we went to Bushard's Gardens. And believe me, it's a beautiful, warm, sunny day, and the temperature is in the mid-80s, and it is just too nice for words. As you enter the gardens, this is the first sight that greets you.
The flowers in this place are absolutely unreal. You can't imagine. Let me give you a little history about this place. 100 years ago, Mrs. Bushard, by the way, Bushard is incorrect because the name Bushard would be correct if it was French, but they were English. So you put the accent on the first syllable instead of the second. So it's Bushard. Bushard. That's the way you're supposed to say it. Well, anyway, this was a quarry, and which was very close to her home, and she didn't like the way it looked. So she decided she was going to beautify it, and she started planting. And she did this for years, planted them more and more flowers and more flowers until she wasn't capable of doing it anymore. Then the family took over and developed it into what you see today. They hired gardeners and what have you, and they really made it into a very, very elaborate garden. And it was also a very profitable enterprise when you figure that they get almost 1 million customers a year. So it's really quite profitable for the family. So now we all can enjoy it after all this time.
Hey Flo, I don't know what these things are called, but aren't they kind of strange looking?
They're kind of strange, but I think they're beautiful.
Yes, they are beautiful, that's for sure. I don't know what these are, Flo, but maybe if we get a book and we can look them up, maybe we can find out. What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. We'll have to go find a book somewhere.
Well, here's a bunch more flowers that I don't know what they are, but they certainly got a lot of color to them. Got different shades and a lot of multicolor. Well, these are nice, pretty little flowers. We'll look in the next picture, and you're gonna have a nice close-up, and you'll see what they really look like. Boy, Flo, these things are really beautiful. Look at that beautiful color in these things.
Well, they're yellow. They're supposed to be pretty yellow, bright.
Well, we just went from yellow to white. I mean, these things are so white, they almost glow in the dark, don't they?
I think they're beautiful. I like white flowers.
Wow, look how red this thing is. You ever seen anything like that?
That's beautiful. I really like it.
I've never seen anything like it.
Well, I don't know what this is, but it looks like some kind of a bird up on top of a big pole. Well, it's like a totem pole, but it's really quite different though. But it's interesting. What do you think?
I think it's kind of cute.
Boy, this is really different. It's really interesting. Look at all those little red spots all over this flower. It really is quite unique, don't you think?
It's wonderful. I've never seen anything like that before.
The color combination of flowers in this place doesn't never seems to stop. They always got more and more and more every place you look. Here you got red, yellow, white, there's purple in the background there with the green foliage. It really looks interesting. Well, if you're a flower lover, you'll certainly fall in love with this place. There's never any end to flowers.
It's really great.
It seems that red is the main color of a lot of these flowers here. I think they have more red flowers than anything else.
I think that must be true, because there are bunches and bunches and bunches of red flowers every garden, it seems like.
Here's a bunch more flowers. These are not red, but I think they're more lavender color, probably. This is the geranium garden over here, and looks like all these ones in here are red. They come in different colors, don't they, Flo?
I think they do. I'm not too sure. I know that red is the main one.
Well, after spending a couple of nice, beautiful hours in the Butchart Gardens, we, on our way back to the ship, we stopped off at a place called the Butterfly Gardens, and this was really quite unique. As you enter the atrium, all you get to see first was a lot of beautiful flowers and green foliage and thousands of butterflies flying around. And these butterflies really are attracted to people. Depending on what kind of lotion or what color clothing you wear, they have a tendency, if they like it, they'll come over and land on you. Like you see this gentleman here with the one butterfly on his head. And it stood there for the longest time. There must have been at least 1,000 or more butterflies flying around, and one of them decided to fly down and land on this little boy's head, and he stood there for quite a while before picking himself up and flying away again. They also had this nice little pool with these koi fish in it. Most of them were hiding around the other side, but there were just a few swimming around. And how do you like these flamingos? Colorful, aren't they? Flo really loved this place. Besides all the butterflies flying around, she couldn't believe the different colors of all this foliage that was growing in here. This little girl was standing there with her hand out, and this butterfly came down and landed on it. So Flo decided to do the same thing, and sure enough, she has one there, right there on her hand. This place is really unique, and I'm glad that we stopped over here, because this was really an experience. This was really different. All these flowers like to grow upside down. These butterflies are really very, very colorful. This one sitting on the flower trying to get some nectar, I guess. One is prettier than the other. This is really a different type of butterfly. Parked in the parking lot, right just off the main entrance there was this limousine parked there. This is a Bentley. Now, I don't know what year it is. It's not new, but boy, it was really something to see.
Flo, tomorrow is the end of our trip. Have you had a good time?
I had a wonderful time.
Good. Do you think maybe you might like to do another trip in the near future?
You know me, I love trips.
Good.
So anytime you want to have a trip, I'll go with you.
Okay, well, you know, the song in the background is saying it's time to say goodbye. So why don't you say goodbye, Flo?
Goodbye, Flo.